Couples often find that they are very challenged and strained when they have a newborn or have twins. Babies bring a whole new challenge into the relationship. And there are some common mistakes that couples make that can really cause a rift. And it's hard to stay together with these mistakes. So I'm going to talk today a little bit about going deeper with your partner, how to connect after you've had babies, and what you can do instead to help your relationship, to make it as strong as it can be. I'm Lindsay Lowrance. I'm a therapist in Colorado, and I often work with twin moms, helping them go from drained and distracted to powerful and fulfilled. I also often work with couples and really helping people come back together when they're facing some of the toughest challenges. And so today, talking about diving deeper with couples, one thing that often happens in the midst of, sleepless nights and the stress of taking care of a newborn, a lot of couples find that they don't connect, right? You guys are both going in different directions on all these different tasks, struggling just to make ends meet. And a lot of times what that means is that you might find yourself isolating and kind of building up a wall to protect yourself when you're surrounded by all this stress and all this chaos. A lot of our natural instinct is to look for that safety and kind of, wall off any enemies or any, anything that feels like an attack. And so couples sometimes get into this dance where they kind of start attacking each other. They're so overly stressed. Maybe they're so tired, they're emotional. Life has really changed and they are both struggling to make sense of it all. And sometimes they fling arrows at each other, not literally. This could be criticism. This could be making your partner feel like they're not doing enough. And, I think a lot of times it's not intentional. Partners often just are in their own head, their own space of what they need to do or what needs to be done, and feeling like it's too much for them. And so it's easier at least, to say, you're not doing enough, or you need to help me more, or why didn't you do this, this, and this, right? And so we might get into this blame game. And when that struggle happens with a couple, both people end up building up an emotional wall to block each other so that they can't be hurt anymore by the other person's criticism or by letting down, their family, their partner, feeling like they're not good enough or they can't keep up. And so we kind of wall off and just face everything on our own a lot of times in those situations. And that can be a pretty big mistake that couples find themselves doing. And so to go deeper, to try and correct that mistake, what you can do instead is try to take time to be vulnerable with each other. No matter how hard it is, no matter where you two are at, there might have been a lot of fighting and arguing, bickering or criticizing, or on the other end of the spectrum, you two might have a lot of distance and a lot of time away from each other, working, or one's working where the other one's always with the kids. There's a separation that tends to happen sometimes. And so both of those situations, whether you're fighting and bickering, criticizing, blaming, or you're on the other end of that spectrum where you two just aren't really talking, there's just no time for the two of you as a couple, you don't have much in common at the point, at the time, you both are working on very different things all the time, focused on different things. For both sets of couples, it's really important to try and pull it together, to come together and to connect, to say, what's important to you, and to take time together, right? So to go deeper, let's talk about that. What does that mean, and how do we do it? Well, you can't really do it if you're flinging arrows. So you both need a truce, even if it's temporary, even if it's just like short term. All right, for tonight, let's not argue. Let's not think about what we did or didn't do. Let's not, bring up any of these issues tonight, right? Temporary truce. And let's just try and enjoy each other or sit down and talk. And part of going deeper is about trying to allow yourself to really be vulnerable, to really trust in your partner, taking a moment to let it all out there. And so it's not about pretending that things are okay, and it's not about shoving everything under the rug. It's about being real. And let's face it, when you built up this barrier protecting yourself, you're kind of putting on a mask. You're putting on this facade, whether it's to your partner or to the world. You're like, I got this, I'm going to keep going, or, oh, it's just me. And so whatever that message is that you're putting out there to your partner, to the world, that's got to come down if you're really going to connect. And so you've got to really just be in tune with yourself. What's the reality? What are you feeling? What are your fears? What are your emotions? What is it that is really happening for you inside that wall? And let your partner see it. Let them hear it. Let them be a part of that with you so that you two can be in it together. Now, it's really hard to get vulnerable, especially if you don't feel safe. And so safety and trust is key. And there are some different ways that you can get there with your partner. Maybe you've had it before, and just right now, because it's a hard time in your relationship, you don't. Or maybe you two have never really gone there to fully be vulnerable and really show each other your raw self, but it's worth it. It will be the most connected that you can ever be. If you can just be your authentic, true self, just say, what's going on for you, what your experience is, show your emotions without any negative feedback, without any criticism. So you have to set the scene. I think you and your partner need to be on the same page about what this truce looks like, what this time to connect looks like, and that it's not about blaming each other. Make some ground rules here, and that it needs to be a safe space for you both to really say what your experience is, how you're feeling, what's going on for you, what are the challenges. Because if you start with this, right, if you, let's say you're a stay-at-home mom, for example, and you feel like you're doing all this work with the kids, you're doing all this work with the household, you're managing the budget and the groceries and whatever, you've got all these things on your plate. If you try and take that heart to heart with your partner, there's a possibility that your partner is going to feel defensive, that they're going to feel like you're saying they're not doing enough, or they're not good enough, or that they're not meeting your needs, or they're not caring about the family, whatever it is. There's some internal message that they might hear underneath that. And so to set the stage, to really set up the rules, to go deeper, you both have to know whatever you share right now, in this truce, is not an attack, and it is not a criticism, and it's not about your partner. It's not about what they are or aren't doing. Both of you are in it together. And so really set the scene so that you both can really listen and feel for each other without getting defensive about your own experience or about your own perspective on things. Really do your best to put that aside and just be there with your partner. Hear what your partner's experience is. You might be surprised. Most likely, it is not what you thought it was. Not if you really take the time to try and see it through their eyes. Try and put yourself in their shoes. Because you both probably have it hard. This is, when couples are struggling, life is hard. And so you both have your own unique challenges and your own perspective, and they're both valid. I think those are some of the rules to keep in mind when you sit down with this truce and try to just let it all out. It's not attack. Make sure it's not aimed at your partner. It's not, you flinging arrows, but that you're just checking in with yourself and sharing that with your partner. And that your partner knows to listen to how you're feeling and to try and feel for you, and that they will get a turn to check in with themselves and let you know how they're feeling and what's going on. It's not the easiest thing to learn how to do. And if you haven't had these kind of real, raw conversations before, then it can be really challenging. One of the challenges that comes up a lot of times with couples is that one person might watch something like this or read something, an article about what they could do, and they want to try something new and they see the value in it, but the other partner isn't totally on board, right? And so this could happen too. You both need to kind of be on the same page, even if your partner isn't so sure, like, oh, I don't know if this is going to help, or, oh, I don't want to talk to a counselor, or, whatever it might be that you're bringing. Hopefully your partner can have an open mind. You might have to really explain your point of view on why you think it's important to even try something, right? So just start with the problem in kind of a broad general sense, and say, we're not feeling very connected, or I'm not feeling very connected right now, and I feel like this is a problem, or we bicker a lot, or we don't spend a lot of time together, whatever it is, and say that you want it to be better and you think that it can be better, but maybe you two need to try something different. And that might mean getting a little out of your comfort zone for both of you to try something different. And so hopefully with that, you both can get on the same page just with that first step of opening up the conversation, laying down the guidelines of here's what we're going to try. Well, we don't know if it'll work for us. We don't know how to do it, but we're both in to try and connect. And, first we'll try this step. If that doesn't work, we'll try another step, or we'll ask for help, or we'll, go to couples counseling. Whatever that might be, try to really talk and listen to your partner's concerns about doing all this. What is it that they want out of the relationship? Do they feel like it's not working right now? Do they want to see it get better? And so if you both have a buy-in here and you both see that there's something not working, then the next logical step is, what do we do about it? And it's okay if you have different opinions. There's a lot of different tips, like I've shared here on my Facebook page or on my website, lindsaycounseling.com. There are a lot of different tips for things that couples can do. And it's not going to be one size fits all. What you think sounds like a great idea to you may not sound so great to your partner. And if you do try a tip, it may not be the end all, solution to what's going on for you two. So you might have to try a few different things, and that's okay. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of counseling or therapy, is that it's not easy. It's not clear cut of, oh, you have this problem, do this. Done, problem solved. There's so much more to humans than that, and to relationships and dynamics. So you're going to have to try and test out different things. And you might even find that you do need someone else's guidance if, you're trying things and it's just not working, or you don't know if you're doing it right. Whatever it is, it's okay. Couples counseling is not supposed to be there when you two are already done, when one of you is already out the door or has already gotten so disconnected that there's, big unhealthy things happening in the relationship. So it's a lot better to recognize when something's not working on the earlier side of things and do something about it. Well, there's still a lot of opportunity to try different things. Once you get really far down the cycle where, maybe it's been going on for years, maybe there's been, lying or distrust or cheating, it's really hard to repair that. And I'm not saying it can't be repaired, but you might as well be proactive on the front end of that to do something about it before it gets to this place where you two don't even know each other anymore and you don't know if you want to be together. It's better to start out and say, let's go to couples counseling while we know we want to be together and we both are in it and we're both going to work hard for it. So that's one of my tips, is don't wait until the last minute for it. It doesn't have to be this scary thing. It can be a really helpful tool to get you through any transition in life, any challenge that you might be facing. And most of the time, it's a positive experience. So those are some of the tips that I have. Going deeper, getting vulnerable, building up that trust, maybe setting some ground rules with it, and getting help when you need help. One other thing that I will mention today too is about looking at the positive. It's always nice to end on a positive note. And so when you both are in a negative space, kind of viewing each other negatively, feeling like the other one's not doing enough or sees you in a negative light, we kind of need to stop those kind of thoughts, right? And take a moment to see the whole picture. Like, why are you two together? What brought you together? What did you like about your partner? What made you take the next level in your relationship? It can really help to stop the negative wheel from rolling downhill and to really focus again on what's your motivation to be with this person. What do you love about your partner? And have your partner think about what they love and appreciate about you and why they want to be with you, what their motivation is. And that kind of reframe can really help change and transform your dynamic, even if it's just for that day, and maybe you have to remind yourselves to do it again regularly, because it's easy to get caught up in the negative cycle, and it's easy for that to be the routine. It's kind of hard work to make a change, but if you bring your attention to it and you set this goal for you and for the two of you as a couple, it can be done and it can be beautiful, and you two can both feel great and really feel that positive energy between you and the love again. Really recognize why it's worth fighting for. So I hope that this gives you a little glimpse on what you can do and how you can help your relationship reconnect and get stronger after having kids. it is a challenging transition for most parents. And so hang in there. I do have a lot of different tips on both my Facebook page, which is Twin Mom Power with Lindsay Lowrance, and also my website. I've got some great articles and blogs and videos as well. And that's at lindsaycounseling.com. So I hope you join me. Sign up for my email list so you can hear when new tips are coming out, and follow my Facebook page so you can see, each new thing as it comes along. All right, take care until next time.